Hello, everyone, and welcome to the North versus South FPL podcast featuring myself, Heath, and my co-host, State. How are you, buddy?
Very good, mate. And week's been going well. Work's going well. Family's going well. Dream fantasy team's going well. All good, mate. Really good.
And the mic sounds awesome, mate. I'm the
I
first to
think
compliment you on that.
I think it's fine. It's only taken me what are we now in January? So it's only taken me since August, and there's been a lot of pain with this microphone. Maybe we'll get into the story about it another time. It's taken a lot of pain, and then once I started actually using it, once I got it, it's taken me a little while to get used to it. On that, I think we're there now, mate.
We are
Thank
there,
you.
mate. You've been trying your hardest to get a mic, and the ups and downs that you've had, including your little one grabbing it, using it as a toy, throwing it into the bath or something.
Yeah.
Having to
Mate.
take one back, bring it in, broken, having to replace it.
Oh,
Mate, it's got its own podcast in itself, right?
That's his next thing. You
Here
know,
you
instead
go.
of a NASCAR,
We'll call
we'll
it
do that.
Mike's Stories. Mike's
Perfect.
Stories. Mike's Stories,
Mate,
yeah.
you should be in marketing with like slogans like that. You just got it.
I've got
You've got the
content,
gift.
mate. I've got content. Yeah. It's just no one's ever asked for it.
Shocking behavior. I tell you what, shocking. I'm very shocked.
I have to say, mate, it's good to have you back because I got to be honest, you did seem a little bit destroyed last week. It did seem like the Christmas period, New Year period had killed you a little bit for fantasy. It feels like you've got your mojo back, and it's good to have you back. You know, it doesn't seem right for you to not be doing well in FPL.
Christmas is tough. There was too much happening. I was obviously drinking a lot, eating a lot, chasing after a kid a lot. Bad decisions were made. Didn't put as much attention to it over the Christmas period as I would have liked. But I'm sure those fantasy players out there might sympathise with me if they've got younguns, or even those who don't have younguns and are just out drinking. Or someone might turn around and say, "Actually, you should have just been more focused on it." And you're right. Maybe I should have done, but it just my concentration wasn't where it needed to be at, and I let things slip. But it's not the end of the world. Coming back into it now, and I know what day is what day now as well. That's what you don't know in Christmas, don't you?
No
What
chance,
day is it?
Yeah, no
Don't
chance.
have a clue what day it is. Never mind. What Wednesday? Somebody then puts a message on saying, "Oh, by the way, it's FPL game week starts in 3 hours. You've got an hour to do your team." That's great. I'm 7 pints in. I'm in trouble. I'm in big trouble, Jeff.
you play your free hit, and then 2 or 3 days later, the double games get cancelled. If one of the games get cancelled, and
Exactly.
you've ruined it. Yeah,
I
I think we all know that pain.
yeah,
Unfortunately, maybe not the
exactly.
7 pints down one. I mean, I can't say that I found myself in that position recently.
I mean,
Maybe a few years ago.
Yeah, I was a bit down last week, but yeah, I'm back up spirits this week.
He's
There's
back, baby.
I'm back, baby. Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back, mate. And let's just basically put it out there. This week, we've got a few of our features that have come back to us. We have been a bit naughty by missing them out just to get as much content in as possible around the festive periods, but they're back. So this week, we have our game week review, standard. We've got our shit list. We've got a hit list, which is back with a vengeance.
Yeah, we haven't done hit list for a few weeks, have we?
No, we haven't. Good. Yeah, the hit list is back. The
because it's boring. It's more boring than a shit list. That's why, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because I mean, I guess it's like any podcast can just tell you who to bring in. You know what I mean? Like, but the shit list, not many people abuse these players and situations and managers and referees and VAR and COVID and all that kind of stuff on a regular basis like we do. So, yeah, the hit list doesn't have as much kind of nicheness. Is that even a word? I don't know, but I'm using it.
I like it. I like it. Whatever it is, it's good. You can add that to the dictionary right now.
Exactly. So to add to the nicheness of this podcast, we've got our North versus South mini league updates. We've got our score predictions that are back. And we've got on the spot, which seems to be going down very well with our audience. And then lastly, we've got our game week preview. No quiz this week. The quiz last week was so good that, we thought we don't want to give you too much of a good thing. So that's been cut this week. But yeah, and just an FYI as well, obviously there's a couple of games going on. So you've got Leicester Spurs and you've got United Brentford. So State will be on top of those scores as they come in. Any chances to butt in on any kind of conversation is acceptable if there's been a goal from Serge Reguilon or well, actually, I think that's all I've got going on tonight.
Yeah, I've got a bit more going on than you have. I think
I
in
think
the
so.
games today,
I think
and
so.
we're currently at at the start of the second half in the Leicester Spurs game, which is 1-1. Daka with the goal for Leicester. I think it's a bit undecided on the assist. The rumor was that Lookman got a touch on it, but then it said it hit a defender. So I've not double checked that. And then Harry Kane equalised for Spurs, looking like he's sharp and that. And the Man United Brentford game is 0-0. David De Gea is making saves. Is all I can say about that at the moment. There you go. Other than that, let's get cracking, Heath.
Yeah, so the first feature on our agenda this week is the game week review. I think you can safely work out exactly where this is going. I think the fact that I obviously don't have as much excitement for this feature as I did last week means that there's a very happy Northerner on the other side of this podcast. So put me out of my misery.
Been a good week for the Northern Super Kings. We played as free hit, and we had to quote Martin Luther, I had a dream that Bruno was going to score a lot of points this game week, and man, has he scored points. So that's how it is. There's my quote for the week. It's not from a film, it's from real life. There you go. I might still get a film quote in later on, but yeah, no, it's been a good week, and it's not just Bruno who's come to the floor. The back four came to the floor as well. So Sarr in net from Wolves, 7 points. Now he didn't even keep a clean sheet, and he got 7 points. So obviously he played a full game. He made 9 saves. 9 saves. So he obviously got some points for that. And then he got 2 bonus points. So bravo, Sar. 9 saves. I mean, that's good going, isn't it? That's like Paul Robinson when he played for Leeds in that season they got relegated in the early 2000s, and Leeds were getting spanked every game, but Paul Robinson was like best player in the league because he was stopping them from losing 20-0 most games. But yeah, Sarr, well done, pal. 9. It was, I mean, just a shame you didn't keep a clean sheet. But then again, James Ward-Prowse, take a bow, son. Take a
Oh,
bow.
I'm glad you brought that up
I
because,
mean,
mate, I was looking forward to talking about that.
yeah.
When you see a goal like that from James Ward-Prowse, you can only admire it because the way he's connected with the ball, he's hit it in a certain way that most people can't hit it.
He's the closest thing, and he's very, very close to what in terms of set piece quality to David Beckham that we've had ever since David Beckham.
100%.
Nobody else has been that close. And I think he's arguably one of the best free. He's got to be one of the best free kick takers in the world. Never mind just the Premier League. And he's quality and he's consistent with it. You watch his free kicks; he's close every time. His delivery is on point, and to be fair, he's a really underrated footballer as well, to be honest with you. He started his career playing sort of further wide, but he's now playing a central role. He's integral to Southampton. He's a good footballer. I really like him. I think, but he should be getting a little bit closer in the England squads, maybe. But then again, it's competitive in the England squads. But yeah, I mean, to be fair to Sarr in net for Wolves, he couldn't do much about that. It took someone like that to be really. He should still get his clean sheet thing because as a goalkeeper, you can only applaud that sort of strike going against you. But yeah, 7 points from him. Joel Matip, I brought him in on the free thing. I was thinking about Van Dijk, but then I'm thinking, well, look, centre halves, they're not scoring much at Liverpool, so why spend that much money on Van Dijk when I could just bring in Matip for cheaper and spend that money elsewhere? And I did that. 6 points, clean sheet, great. Trent, 10 points, got an assist. Of course, he got an assist. When doesn't he most of the time? His 10th assist of the season, and he got a bonus point, so clean sheet bonus. So 10 points from Trent. And then my man, Connor Cody, what a legend.
He's
9
doing
points.
unbelievably well, mate. Like FPL points wise.
He's been getting points mainly for clean sheets, but he popped up with a goal this time. His second of the season. Connor doesn't score very often. If you look at the previous 3 seasons at Wolves, he scored 1 goal last season and no goals the previous 2 seasons. So he's not a goal scoring centre half, and he isn't because he's not one of the. I don't think he's going to be the one that the opposition's worried about when they're going up for corners. I mean, Bowley was that guy, wasn't he, for Wolves? Because a bit taller, a bit
Saeed
more of
had
a
his
brute.
moments, didn't he?
Yeah, Exactly, yeah, exactly. But yeah, kind of popping up with a goal were fantastic. So he got a goal, he got a bonus point for it, 9 points. So 32 points out of my back four. So I played three at the back. Midfield, Mason Greenwood, he's on 3 points at the moment. He got 2 points in the Villa game. He's currently playing against Brentford on 1 point. Hopefully, he can do something and get some points here. Because against Villa, he wasn't great. To be fair, he was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, he doesn't really look like. I don't know if this is just him as a person, but I was watching that game and just thinking he just doesn't look happy. You know, he just
I
doesn't
think,
look like he's got any enthusiasm. Like when he first came on the scene, he
yeah.
had that spark about him, like as if he couldn't wait to play and he was wide-eyed. Maybe this is just what happens when you get a bit older
Yeah,
and
I've got a big theory about the whole Manchester United thing and the number of players that are underperforming and who's to blame for it, unfortunately. And, and I think Mason Greenwood falls into that category. He started the season fantastically, scored uh, 3 goals in his first 3 games, a goal against in each game. And then since then, he's only scored once more. But he's playing most weeks because the one thing that you do see from Mason Greenwood is the effort. He's got quality, we know that, but he's also got the work rate and the effort, and he's putting in the yards, and I think that's why Ralph seems to like him, and he's playing him most weeks. But yeah, he's not doing what he was doing right at the start of the season. Um, but yeah, I can get onto the United thing later on, trust me, because I can come on to that in my shit list actually. So then Diogo Jota in my team, he got 3 points at home against Brentford. Didn't score, didn't get an assist or anything. It's a bit disappointing, but at the same time, there's a lot of pressure now on him, and I think teams will notice that as well. But it might free up other players. But I'm sure he'll pick up a goal or two. Damari Gray got 2 points. Everton had a stinker away at Norwich. The Rafa has been sacked because of that. Of course, most managers should be sacked if their team loses to Norwich. Most
what
players
would he say?
should be.
What would he say?
Who? Rafa.
Yeah, what
Ah,
would he say to the board when he found out the news?
well, he can't. He can't really say I want to talk about facts because
I've
the
lost to
facts are
Norwich. I've
yeah
lost to
the fact
Watford.
yeah. I mean, he can talk about those facts and then say at the end of it, I agree with your decision. Yes. I'll go back to Liverpool. Yes. We do that.
Job done.
Yeah, job done. Yeah, Liverpool fans are happy. He's still a legend in Liverpool's eyes,
He's even
obviously.
more of a legend now. He's got him in a
Yeah,
relegation
def
battle.
exactly. So yeah, James Madison's on 1 point. Obviously, Leicester were due to have a double game week. They were meant to play Burnley. It didn't happen. We won't get into a rant about that this week, otherwise I could really lose my shit. Okay. But he's playing against Spurs at the moment. He's on 1 point, which is not great, but against Spurs, that's not the game I was expecting him to get the points. Then captain, fantastic. I captained Bruno Fernandes this week, and a lot of people went Ronaldo. A lot of people, when I put my team out, I spoke to a few of my mates, said, "Oh, Captain Bruno," and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing? He's useless." And I went, "Ronaldo's not going to be playing. Bruno comes to the party because that's it." And he scores 2 goals. Granted, Mr. Martinez assisted his first goal, but still, second goal and everything, he was a lot more lively. I thought got 2 goals. 14 points, made it 28. At the moment, it's 1-0 at half time with Brentford. Bruno's playing. He's got one more point there. So at the moment, Bruno's got me 30 points currently, but he's still playing. So there could be more coming from him. Up top, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, big 2 points from DCL, better than the previous week where he got 0 points when he missed the penalty. So he's going in the right direction. And then Cristiano Ronaldo's my other player, obviously United. He didn't play against Villa. He started today. He's on 1 point at the moment. Is Ronaldo. I didn't make Ronaldo even vice captain, to be fair. I made Madison vice captain originally when I thought Leicester had 2 games. Then on the bench, a sub keeper I brought in from Newcastle, who I knew wasn't going to play. Gillespie, 0 points. Jay Rodriguez, Burnley were meant to have 2 games. So, they obviously have had them both cancelled. So it's that I did bring him in as a first sub, thinking, right, if someone don't play, I've got a guy coming on who's going to play 2 games because they don't have any strikers. Then Brandon Williams, I brought him in on my bench. He got 6 points. He got an assist. He got a
Yeah.
bonus point. I mean, fantastic news. Yeah, he's not doing anything, but he wouldn't have changed my defense in terms of quality of score. But if I'd have brought him in for maybe Damari Gray, there you go. And then Mason Holgate, nil point, he didn't play. So at the moment, I'm on 74, still ongoing games. So hopefully, I'm hoping I can get over the 80-point mark today. Fingers crossed. Got 4 lads still playing. If I can get over 80, really good. If Bruno could score a goal and an assist, I might get close to that big 3-figure number. But at the moment, yeah, I'm happy with that. So how about you, Heath? How are you looking?
I just want to come back to Brandon Williams, because what I did make me laugh, I wanted to bring this up, was when he played a good pass through Ida. Well, his touch was a bit rough, wasn't it? But he caught up with it and he was able to slot it past Pickford. What made me laugh was when he scored, how he went in one direction and Williams went in the other direction to celebrate the goal in their own way. And that did make me laugh, like, because I was thinking, like, when I played
How apart
football,
are they?
if you scored, everyone would celebrate together, right? You know, even if someone didn't really like each other, you'd go over to them, give them a pat on the back or something, get on with it. You know, was what it was.
Yeah.
But how often do you see that, where players go in different directions to celebrate the assist, celebrate the goal, whatever, because they probably don't get along, or they don't know each other or whatever, and they don't really want to go and celebrate together?
Well, I've got a good story about this in a game that I played in recently, and this is a shout out. So I'll put the podcast on the group when we release it and say, oh, there's a shout out here. So there's a lad who plays for my Saturday team, a lad called Sam Daughtry, great lad, and he's got a son called Lorenzo. So Sam's a big Man United fan, but he's also Italian/English, depending on who's played who. At the end of the day, the Euros final. Surprisingly, when Italy won on penalties, he was Italian, But if England had won, he'd probably disagree with this, but I'm sure he'd have been happy for England if they'd have won. He'd have been an England fan. He'd have swapped his Italy shirt and put his England shirt on quickly. But anyway, so we were playing in the game before Christmas on the Saturday, and he scored a goal. And one of our lads, a wide lad called Josh Bowker, and he put in a great ball for him to Josh. Daughtry finishes it. And Josh is like, puts his hand up for him to like, run up to him and celebrate. But Sam just runs straight past him, trying to go to his son, pointing who's watching Lorenzo. But Lorenzo's not interested. Lorenzo's looking at someone up there. So Sam's pied off the lad who's put it on a plate with him with a great ball. And then he's been pied by his own son. So it's like,
Double pie.
yeah, he's been double pied. Well, he's done some pieing and then been double pied. Now, it's not quite the same as going off in a different direction, but what I'm getting the point at is he didn't think to just go straight to the lad who's just put it on a silver platter for him, He just absolutely fobbed him off. It was brilliant. And he got fined after the game for that,
Nice.
to be fair. So yeah. But that just triggered my mind, like you said, celebrations going wrong or just going in completely different directions. Well, there you go.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you know what his son was looking at? What his attention had been taken away by?
I think that, I mean, his son's about like 3 years old, so it could have been anything like there was a blade of grass blowing in a different direction. Either way, Daughtry came into the changing rooms like, I got pied by my son, and we all then just reminded him, well, actually, no, you pied Josh, who put it on a platter for him, and he was like, oh God.
It's instant pie karma.
Yeah, it was pure instant pie karma, and the beauty was we all saw it all happen. So we even saw him be pied by his own son as well. So it was fantastic. It was a moment of brilliance. We won the game at least, but yeah, and he got fined, so raised some more money for the club.
Beautiful, I love it. That's a great story. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Mate.
We digress. How's your team done, Heath? Then give us a rundown.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping we'd talk more about the story, so I could kind of get away with not talking about my week.
Just fire through it then if you're embarrassed.
I will. Okay. I will. So just to kind of to make this week even worse than it already is, I played my free hit, looking at the doubles. There will be people out there screaming at me right now, going, "You're a fool! You knew that games could get called off because of COVID." But I just thought, fantasy football's fun. You're meant to have fun with this, right? So I was thinking, well, I've got Spurs, I've got Brighton, I've got Chelsea, Watford, all playing twice. And I thought, well, why not make the most of it? Get a team full of those players.
Still got six who played the doubles.
Yeah, true. Yeah, not a problem there. But just as I was playing it, right? So this is very unlike me. I am a massive FPL nerd. You probably can tell already, right? But normally I am well on top of everything. Deadlines, I know exactly when they're coming. I've worked it out, Then last week you said the deadline is on Friday night. So make sure on Saturday you're focused before whatever. And you said something about Saturday. Now, I don't know why I had it in my head, but I had it in my head that you had said it was Saturday morning. So I'd relaxed and I was calm. And then it literally hit me about, I don't know what, it was probably about an hour before deadline. I nearly missed it. So I thought, I got away with this one. Happy days. And then I thought, in a hasty kind of mindset, I'm going to put some players on the pitch that are going to play twice. It could be quite good fun. It just didn't work out for me. But then having looked at my team, I know I've lost the free hit chip and people will say it's really costly, but I think it's a risk that I ran knowing that I kind of knew that State was playing his free hit chip. And I just thought, well, if I've got a chance, I should really see.
I think a lot of people have played their free hit chips over these last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Both of them, I bet.
Yeah. And I think most people, when they see my team, they'll understand what I've tried to do. And I think that they'll probably have a bit of sympathy for me that hasn't worked out. It is what it is. They definitely will. They definitely will. They're nicer than you are, mate. So I picked this team. I've got 40 points at the moment. I think Region's still playing at the moment.
Are you on 41 now? You're up to 41.
Oh, nice. So I'll just update my team.
Congrats.
Oh, cookie settings. That's really annoying, the cookie settings, So I've got Sanchez in goal. He has got me a 4-pointer. So, not bad, I guess. He probably got 2 more points I would have expected him to. Rudiger, disappointing, 3 points. I suppose I wasn't expecting much from Man City, but I was kind of hoping for a clean sheet against Brighton. He didn't even get that. He got a yellow card instead. Region, his game against Arsenal was called off. That was what I was going to say. Half an hour before the game, everyone's talking about the fact that Arsenal Spurs is getting called off. Arsenal had submitted for the cancellation. I thought, it's Arsenal. It will go through. It's just, it can't, given, I know Arsenal didn't get it at the beginning of the season, but because so many had gone through recently, they changed their stance a little bit. I thought it's definitely going to happen. So I thought, I've got Region. He can get an assist and gets forward and stuff. So he's got a chance. I'll put in my team. And then I took out, well, I'll come to that anyway. I got Cucurella, who's got the 5 points, got a bonus against Palace. And he's just got the 2 points against Chelsea.
Vice captained him as well.
Yeah,
that was a bit interesting.
Yeah, for the same reason, I assume you captained Maddison. You didn't want to captain someone from the same game, and you just want to kind of captain someone who's playing double. And I'll be honest with you, it didn't pay off.
I vice captain someone who's a bit more of an attacking play, and I mean, put it this way, I'd have been vice captaining someone different in your squad who you'll come on to in a minute. Yeah. So I'll let you carry on. Sorry.
Have you not seen Cucurella this season? That guy is an absolute star.
He's not a vice captain star. I mean,
maybe not.
He's not. He doesn't do he's like a poor man's TAA or Cancelo, basically.
Yeah, I made it. I guess that for me, the hair alone made me just kind of put the vice on him. But anyway, so I'll move on. So I've got Hassan Kamara, and you guys are going, who is this guy, right? But he is now officially my new legend of my team. And I just want you to just look at his picture. So go to Kamara. He's the new Watford left back. Click on information, have a look at his picture. It's brilliant. Love it.
Well, put it this way, if they had listened to our previous podcast, they'd know who he was, because we did it in the transfer quiz as well.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. So I listened, and he did look useful. He did look useful. And I did obviously have in mind that Watford would play Newcastle and Burnley. So I did think that he may get a clean sheet. He may get forward. I knew that he was going to play because our left back is at Ofcon, and Danny Rose is just a big, I'll leave it at that. So Mason Mount, just the 3 points for him. Fortunately, didn't start against Man City. He did get 9 minutes, so I did get 1 point for him, but didn't get what I wanted. Trossard again, disappointing. Only got 28 minutes against Chelsea. Only got two points. Had a really good chance against Palace really early on. Missed it. Didn't take his chance. It is what it is. Someone who seems to be always doing quite well at the moment, Jared Bowen. He didn't
could have been at least your vice captain.
Yeah, it could have been. Wouldn't matter, I suppose. I suppose it would have been quite ballsy to have made a West Ham player captain, given that they only had one game.
Should have had two as well. You see his chest.
Right at the end. That was a killer. So that was what it was. So he's 7 points. Lukaku back in the team after all these like weeks of thinking, I'm going to bring him back in, the big guy.
Shocking.
Just awful, absolutely awful. And I felt sorry for him against Man City. I talked to a few mates about it after, and we were saying that, the fact is that he looked awful because his teammates really weren't doing him any favors, and it just made him look like a headless chicken, didn't it, really?
But it does sort of like go back to the old adage that he doesn't really produce the goods against the top sides, though. Still, and if you look at teams he scored against, I mean, he's only got 5 this season. I know he's had a bit of injuries, but the teams he scored against: Brighton, Villa. He scored 2 against Villa early in the season, and again against Villa in the return game. He scored against Brighton, scored against Arsenal at the start of the season, who weren't doing that cracking. I mean, yeah, then he's not scored against a lot of teams, but he's still that adage that he doesn't massively deliver against the top sides, and
No,
it's always the thing that lingers over Lukaku a little bit. And you're right, yeah, against City, probably you might not have been expecting it, but I think those are the games where he really needs to come to the floor and dominate, like everyone knows he can do in a game. And
Chelsea just looked void of anything going forward, didn't they? And they just,
I mean, City didn't even have to be at their absolute best, but City were just a cut above, and they are a cut above basically everyone right now, and it's not a competition anymore.
If they've ever got a moment where they're going to focus on Champions League, I think they tried last year, they tried the year before. Last year, they had their moment and they blew it. This year has to be, the moment they put all their eggs in that basket, and they'll probably assuming they'll be fairly ahead of Liverpool and Chelsea by the knockout stages. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they're cruising in the Premier League at the moment. Liverpool have one game in hand. They win it. They're 8 points behind. At this moment in time, the way things are going, you can't see City losing 3 games again this season. They won't lose 3 games again this season. I'll put money on that. But dropping 8 full points behind Liverpool, even I just don't.
And obviously Liverpool have to win every game, so it's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
Let's be
exactly.
honest.
Liverpool have shown some insecurities at times, but again, yeah, never mind. Yeah. So sorry, carry on, mate.
Yeah, and I had Antonio, who, I mean, he got an assist, so happy days there. It's it's been got to get. Yeah, do you know what? I was actually thinking to myself, his stats haven't been too good recently, but just looking at he hasn't actually done too bad. He's got a goal, and assist. So he's done okay, but not as good. I guess it's you saw the run of fixtures he had, and he's definitely not delivered compared, looking at those fixtures, considering how he did earlier in the season. And then, last but not least, Dennis, just unfortunately the 2-pointer. He's my captain. I mean, as a Watford fan, I'm sitting here right now really happy with the result, given how it all played out and stuff. And João Pedro, I mean, absolute legend. That guy is going to become a superstar one day. He just looks great. He just has that determination. Like this says the South American determination. I don't know. There seems to be something that kind of, I don't know. They seem to be able to do things. You just can't even
Colombian like cartel like determination to get their drugs over the border so they can get them into the States, and they're very determined to do that. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Okay. Well, not the direction I was looking for, but yeah, it was a good header nonetheless. So that was 41 points, sorry. And on my bench, Fernandez, the Brentford keeper, wasn't expected to play. In fact, he didn't play tonight. Is Raya back? I don't know.
No.
They put someone else in goal.
Well, he got 4 points the other night. Is Raya back?
Yeah, but this is the thing. He did 10 saves against Liverpool, so he got 3 extra points. That's pretty impressive.
No, Lossell's playing in net for Brentford tonight. They're former Huddersfield keeper.
Fair enough.
People were bumming about him in one of the groups. I mean, loads of Huddersfield fans are in it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Lossell's in there. They're gonna keep clean sheet against United." Blah blah blah. Which might happen.
It's happening at the moment.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's only half time though.
Yeah,
plenty of time for Bruno to step up, score a couple,
get sent off, own goal.
Even if all 4 of my players got sent off that I've got playing in the next like 20 minutes, you'd still not beat me.
Even if Reguilon got a last minute hat trick.
That might make it close.
Okay, come on, Serge. You're on for this, mate. I've just put it out there. There's the carrot. It's dangling. I need the points, big man. Come on.
But you're dreaming, pal.
I
You're
am.
dreaming big.
Continue on the bench. So Sufal, 1 point. Lucas Moura at the moment, 2 points. And Buemo, he's just got the 3 points. So just to kind of like finish with the fact that I didn't have Kane. Lucas Moura is on the bench because of that Arsenal cancellation. And I just thought they're not going to do a huge amount against Leicester. And even though Kane has scored, realistically, it's not going to make any difference. So that was my free hit team. Ultimately, I'm really pissed off. Next, what's the next thing to talk about?
Mate, I tell you what, the fact that you're pissed off, keep the anger, keep the rage. The rage is about to be your friend because the rage leads perfectly into, get some more of that whiskey down you as well. That'd be
beautiful.
Good. So use that rage and channel it into our next part of our agenda, which is our shit list. And our shit list is pretty self-explanatory, people. You can get a maximum of 5 things on your shit list. We say 5 players, but it's not always players. So 5 things can be on your shit list. So it could be players, it could be managers, it could be VAR, it could be yourself, it could be your friendly co-presenter, it could be your missus. Actually, neither of us have put us missus on the shit list yet. And I think
that
we probably could. We could put them on every week because I'm pretty sure mine doesn't listen to it, and I'll put money on that Heath's missus don't listen to it either. No. So Heath, use this anger, channel it towards your shit list. What have we got?
Okay, I'm going to be very, very quick about this. So, COVID cancellations. Okay, I don't need to really say much, but it ultimately affected me massively.
Goal! Yes! James Maddison! Yes! Fantasy team! Ooh, 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 ooh. There's a goal for Leicester, guys. At the King Power Stadium, we have a goal. It's James Maddison for Leicester City. I repeat, James Maddison. And it's 2-1 Leicester. 2-1 Leicester. I repeat. Thank you.
Okay, good time. James Maddison now is on my shit list. Tottenham's defense is on my shit. No, okay. So COVID cancellations. I'm obviously unhappy that certain games were called off. It just changed everything, the dynamics of my team, and it meant that the free hit really was a bit silly overall. And I probably could have saved it for another week and just accepted the probable loss, knowing that State had played his free hit if his games had gone ahead. Anyway, silly, probably a schoolboy error, but I, to my kind of credit, I guess I rushed it really, and so I could be on my own shit list, but I'm not going to give myself that satisfaction. So, yeah, the next person on my shit list is someone who has been representing me on social media for many months. Like when State and I first started the podcast, we had the Ron versus Rom idea, the North versus South. Big Rom being the biggest player, the big signing of the South, and Cristiano Ronaldo being the big man. Obviously didn't cost them as much, but I mean, wages wise probably did. But they were the 2 massive players coming to FPL that everyone was excited about, and we were looking forward to picking these players. Now, my ex Twitter account that got hacked, I can't change anything, so I just see Rom's face looking at me every time I go on there, and I see it. It comes up whenever I come up with a search for something, and it's frustrating to see him mocking me and not doing anything in FPL. So he gives me a headache in 2 ways. But he was useless, and like I say, maybe not completely his fault. But against Man City, I give him a bit of due, and I kind of say, fair enough. You're up against some good defenders. Okay. Against Brighton, come on, mate. Surely you can get something. I know Brighton are still pretty decent, but you cost a lot of money. You're meant to be world class. You're really, really not doing it at the moment.
Sort of team you hope he's gonna sort of bully a little bit.
Exactly.
Just,
Dan Burn. Yeah. Come on. Surely, I know he's a big guy, but you can bully that guy I assume he played anyway, but. So yeah, the big man, as much as I loved the idea of him at the beginning of the season, and he did look good at the beginning of the season, but he just looks, I hate the whole kind of thing of him blasting the manager of the club and looking over his shoulder into Milan as well. I hate that. It doesn't matter what team you play for, respect the fans, respect the badge, just get on with it and be professional, because that's what you are. You get paid a lot of money. Stop, talking in the media and getting your agent to do that, and really winds me up. Anyway, so he's on the shit list for more reasons than one. And then last one, I could put up my whole team on the shit list to a certain extent, but I'm going to just put Emi Martinez on there for getting Bruno's confidence up. The piece of shit, honestly. And do you know what? Like he's like a player that I thought I might even put in my team this week because he's such a good goalkeeper, makes a lot of saves. But after that, I think I've got a bit of a grudge against him now. So I think Emi Martinez, honestly, you ruined it for everyone. This week could have been an interesting one, but you basically allowed State just take complete control. So you're on my shit list, and that's my shit list done.
Like it, and I like the passion about some of it. Really, really good. I've got plenty to talk about my shit list, to be fair, still, because there's still a lot of things on there. The EPL is still on my shit list, guys, from last week. I'm not going to go into the rant again because, well, you know, I did it last week. So if you want to hear my rant, go onto last week's podcast, give it a view, scroll to shit list and listen to a bit of the rant. And then Heath trying to wind me up a little bit more with his fucking fence sitting, being, you know.
Is it a certain team from North London winding you up this week?
Oh no, I mean, yeah, I mean it is a bit. They are annoying me, but it's just now getting to become a farce. And Thomas Tuchel was making an excuse about his team being tired, right? That still winds me up because I'm like, good, look, you got a big squad, you got academy players, etc. These guys are getting paid a lot of money, so I don't care about these guys having to play every week. Chelsea have played all the fixtures that they had organised for them. And he's complaining about them being tired. Well, these fixtures have all been organised for you, so just get over it, okay? That's all I'll say about that, right? So to Tuchel. So second on my shit list is going to be Manchester United Football Club. Exemption, Bruno Fernandes. Okay? Obviously, the exemption is big. Oh, and we've got a goal. Manchester United just gone 1-0 up at Brentford. Anthony Elanga has scored. This kid's getting played now. You know, it could be it's curtains for Jadon Sancho. It's good for him. And it's Fred who gets an assist. Oh my god, bit of a nothing thing, but Man United 1-0 up. Brentford have missed a lot of chances early doors, and United have now taken the lead. United are good at giving up leads though, so that's not over. But anyway, back onto it. So Manchester United Football Club is on there. It's just a fucking mess at United, to be honest with you. There's so much shite happening there. I mean, not just the transition, but everything just coming out of there, stories about the managers saying, "Oh, Martial refused to be on there, on refused to play in the squad." He says no, and then he comes out with other things. But let's be honest now, United are just not performing at the moment, and I've got two players outside of Bruno in there. So Mason Greenwood's on 3 points with a double game week. They've had Villa and Brentford. He's still playing, so he could change my mind, but maybe not. Cristiano Ronaldo, as well. So United just, they're on my shit list, not just for me, but for all these other people out there who've like gone on them this weekend for a double game week. They've probably captained Ronaldo, they've put in other players, and they've been let down by him. So they're on my shit list for everyone else. They're all for you. Okay? That's why they're on my shit list.
What great timing that the moment you're really slagging off Man United is the moment they go 1-0 up.
Mason Greenwood, you have joined Bruno Fernandes off my shit list for Manchester United. I repeat, off the shit list. Man United is 2-0 in front. Brentford should have been like 3 up in the first half, but it's 2-0 United. We'll find out who did the assist in a moment, guys. Fingers crossed it's Bruno, and that'll just really make it good.
No.
But yeah, anyway, back onto my shit list. So, I mean, the EPL, I mentioned Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo's on my shit list. He's on it as a separate thing. So he's on it as part of Manchester United, and he's on it as part of himself. The reason he's on it, I can't comprehend spending so much money on the man. Like I said, I've said before, I love the geezer. He's been, arguably the greatest footballer in the last, decade and a half, along with Lionel Messi. He's broken records. We know he can score goals. But, I mean, like I said, I just can't help the thought that United start the season pretty pretty all right, and you then joined them. Yeah, he scored 2 goals in his first game against Newcastle, but the way they played changed just down to him, and it's affected everyone. And it's great having a quality man like that. He would have been better off going to someone like Man City, where Pep wouldn't have allowed him to be detrimental to the team, and also Man City would probably have won every game because they could afford to probably have Ronaldo just doing that thing up the top, and the rest of the team would have still created. So, but yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo's on there, and people can have a go at me. I hope you do. Get your get your pitchforks out. Treat me like an ogre or whatever you want to do. But he's on there. He's not delivering. He's not delivering. It's been detrimental to the squad. Bruno's not been playing well. Guess what? They played against Villa the other night, and Bruno scored 2 goals. Didn't have a bad game. Tries making things happen, and a bit more happens. So Ronaldo's on there. Thank you very much.
Who got
Bruno
the assist,
Fernandes.
by the way? Who got the assist?
Bruno Fernandes got the assist, mate.
Oh, you bastard.
Yeah, Bruno's got the assist. Awesome. Ronaldo chests it down to Bruno. Bruno's in on goal, but rolls it across for Greenwood for an open net. I don't mind that. That's okay.
Did all right,
Spurs have equalised. Doesn't affect you because Reguilon's off the pitch. Stephen Berwin, he scored the goal.
Nice.
No idea of an assist. It doesn't really matter.
No.
Maybe if Maddison assists it, I might get some more points. Who knows? That'd be cool. I'm not filling up my shit list this week because I've got a lot of passion about those things that I've mentioned. To be honest with you, mate, and I've probably gone on too long, and I know we've gone into different things as well. So yeah, that's the shit list done for this week. Thank you very much.
Nice. I liked it a lot. I like the fact that, like I say, that Manchester United were getting slagged off as they were scoring 2 goals and giving you a lot of joy. But that is what it is.
Slagged off,
Football is all about moments. So,
mate, I'm closing. I'm on 98 points. I'm closing on that ton.
You'll get it, mate, because surely they're going to get bonus. Like, there's got to be some bonus.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. So let's move on to something a bit more positive. Let's talk about our hit list. So the hit list, what we wanted was to look at a max of 5 players who we think could offer your fantasy team a lot, really. We look at players from our individual regions, so me, the South, and State from the North. And realistically, what we want to do is we want to kind of give you some players who you think, could potentially push your team in a different direction, give you that differential that maybe the guys in your current mini league won't even be thinking about, because you've had the insight of listening to the North versus South podcast, and they are idiots and they haven't even bothered. So yeah, State, do you want to start us off with who you've got on your hit list?
We've got a few number of game weeks coming up now, and there's game weeks where there's going to be certain clubs not having games, right? So you got to be thinking about that as well. For example, Chelsea are looking at going to be having like 3 game weeks off because they've got the World Club Championship that they're going to be involved with, and then they've got also a Carabao Cup final game as well. So Chelsea players are not going to be on hit list in a few weeks' time, but they're at home to Burnley in the next game. So I'm thinking immediate hit lists. Look at who are the Chelsea players who are going to do something. They're playing Burnley. Burnley is struggling. So, okay, he's not been on great form in terms of scoring fantasy points, but when you look at him playing, and I know Heath mentioned this, look at Mason Mount. He could be someone different. And I think people are going to ignore him because he hasn't really got much in terms of the last 5 or 6 game weeks. He's not scored a goal. I think he's got 1 assist in the last few games. But there was the game against Liverpool. He scored, but it wasn't. Oh, he was about to score. But he wasn't one given. So, and he always looks lively now. So I would be thinking just as a 1 weeker or maybe a 2 weeker, because I mean they've got Burnley the game week after, and they've got Burnley now, and then they've got Wolves the game week after. So I think Mason Mount could be. I know I'm cheating here by going to the Southern lot.
Yeah, you are actually.
But I feel really quite strongly about this, and I'm pretty sure you won't be mentioning this at all. So I'm actually helping my Southern. I don't want to call you brothers because you're not my brothers. You never will be. So sorry about that, but it's the truth. But you Southerners, or anyone else who's not got the restrictions we've got, I think Mason Mount would be a good idea to put in, at least for the next game week. Oh, by the way, Spurs have just got a winner. Yeah, Stephen Berwin's just scored 2 goals in the last 3 minutes, and Spurs have won 3-2 at Leicester. It's a big win in terms of the top 4 ride, that is, because Spurs have got a lot of games in hand on West Ham, who are only a few points above them. They've got 1 game in hand on Arsenal. So yes, but Conte is, doing wonders there. So the next one, this is an obvious one, but people probably, it's whether you decide to part the money with him, but get Trent Alexander-Arnold on your hit list and in your sides now if you don't already have him. People might have been thought about taking him off because he sort of, his form had supposedly dipped, aka he had a couple of games where he didn't score like more than 6 points. But if you've not got him on there, it's an obvious one, I know, but get him on there. He's Liverpool's main attacking threat now. They're playing Palace away, Palace concede goals. They're playing Leicester at home, Leicester concede goals. They're playing Burnley away, Burnley concede goals. They're playing Norwich at home, Norwich concede goals. The next 4 weeks, get him in there. He's going to get you some points. He's going to get you bonus points. There should be some clean sheets maybe in there as well. And he may even get a goal, but he'll definitely get some assists. So Trent's an obvious one. He's a lot of money, but I think if you've got that money to spare, then do it, So could be an outside differential captain pick as well if people have the balls to name a defender as a captain. There's only a few people I know who have those balls. I'm one of them. Can you be one of the others? Thank you very much.
You idiot.
Yeah, not wrong. Other person to put on there, Phil Foden. Phil Foden is one that I would like people to be thinking. Now, obviously, City, Mahrez is away. City don't really have someone who plays as a central forward. Foden's had his punishment for going out on the slash after beating Leeds 7-0. And he's back in the spirit of things now. I think, City have got, City, every game's seems easy for City at the moment, but Southampton, Brentford, and Norwich are the next 3 games. So I think, Phil Foden, and I think he's going to be playing. I think Pep's going to start giving him a run of games, get him into the swing of things again. He's got 5 goals and 4 assists already this season. And I think, he's missed some games. He didn't play the first 4 games of the season, had a couple of games missing. So he's missed some games and he's already got 5 goals and 4 assists. So I think the guy, especially with Mahrez being away, is somebody to have in there. So there you go. That's my third one. I can't believe I'm doing this again, but look at Leeds, guys. Obviously, it's obvious to say Mr. Harrison after he scored a hat trick, but Leeds have shown now in the last few weeks that they're getting back into things. They beat Burnley 3-1, beat West Ham 3-2. They've got goals in them. So that they're doing things. So you've got Rafinha. Rafinha's a guy to look at. You've got Harrison, Dallas, Dan James. Don't look at Leeds defenders, but look at their midfielders. And you've got a selection of 3 or 4 guys in there who are going to score you points. So it's a bit of an overall one, but I think with their coming up fixtures and how they're looking now is a bit more like the Leeds of last season. They've gotten that bit of confidence back. So there you go. And that's it for my hit list. I'm not going for a 5th thing because I think I've taken up 2 by saying a few of Leeds players there.
To be honest, Rafinha, for me, he was a season keeper. If I could pick Northern players, he would have been in my team hands down because the guy's class. He should have got a January move to Liverpool or someone like that and really been able to play with better players. But fair play to him, he's doing the business at Leeds. And he's, I think, arguably one of the best players in that bottom half in the Premier League. Kind of, he could easily go into the top 6. So it's a bit of a hint for later. But I'm basically putting my money where my mouth is, right? So my hit list, I will start off with Kieran Tierney at Arsenal. I think the fixtures they've got coming up look really, really good. He's also got some decent stats recently. He's got his place back in the team. It looks like he's shaken off that injury. Tavares is now no longer in the team. Got an assist against City, a goal against Norwich, plus a clean sheet against Norwich. Big 13-pointer for him there. He's actually got, when he came back, he got a 12-pointer against Everton. Then he got a 12-pointer against Southampton, a 7-pointer against West Ham. He didn't do so well against Leeds, even though they battered Leeds. Got a 13-pointer against Norwich and a 4-pointer against City. So the guy has basically got 4 big scores out of 6. So you could say the 4-pointer against City is unlikely. So therefore you could say 5 out of 6. So yeah, he's a really interesting pick, and he's probably someone that's gone under the radar. Another player to look out for, and this is really for someone who is looking for a cheap-ish midfielder and maybe hasn't even heard of this guy or even thought about him. He's Brighton's Alexis McAllister. That, to be honest, they bought him, and I think they might have been waiting for work permit or something for him to make the transfer. And I believe he came in maybe last January or maybe the January before. But anyway, he's gradually working his way into the team. Now he's recently been getting full
3-0 United. Marcus Rashford doesn't affect anything or anyone.
Well, it depends on the assist is.
Unless
the
Bruno
game is over. The head-to-head game is over, by the way. So obviously it does matter. But for you climbing up that table and getting closer to some of the guys at the top, I guess it.
Sorry, mate. You carry on.
That's okay. So McAllister got an assist against Chelsea. Got a couple of goals against Everton, that 3-2 thriller. And the fact is that he has got 3 bonus points against Everton, 1 bonus point against Palace, 1 bonus point against Chelsea. I don't know many other players out there at the price of, how much is he? 5.3 million that have got that amount of bonus points in a row. So I would just say, look out for him. He could be a real good differential if you're brave enough to go for him, because let's be honest, again, there is a lot of value out there, especially if you've had Salah all season and you're thinking to yourself, I've got loads of money. You might not even need to worry about bargains at the moment in time, but maybe if you're playing you're playing your wild card coming up, people will be. I assume a lot of strategies will be around the idea of bringing Salah back in with a wild card. Could be wrong, but that could be happening. People could have brought them out, bringing him back in after AFCON. So McAllister could be a way of freeing up funds for some of the bigger players, especially if you go big at the back, where you could get Cancelos and Alexander-Arnolds and your Diaz's or whoever. So, okay, the next one, we talked about him earlier, James Ward-Prowse. The guy scored a fantastic goal the other day, and he does do this in FPL. We talked about him earlier in the season, and we said he's a fantastic football player. He does a lot for Southampton, but if you look at I think between game week 10 and game week 16, he got absolutely sod all. He got nothing. Now, between 17 and 22, he's got 4 goals and 2 assists. So, this season he's got 6 goals and 2 assists altogether. So basically, he's on form. And if you're looking for a player, again, like I said about McAllister, 2 bonus points against Palace, 3 against West Ham, 2 against Tottenham, Brentford 2. And then he got nothing against Wolves because they lost 3-1, but he still scored a stunning goal. So when I said to you literally 2 minutes ago, who's been scoring big bonus points at the kind of value of McAllister? Well, I've just answered the question. James Ward-Prowse. So I would really think, this guy always FPL, and actually looking at his fixtures, they don't look too lively, but I will always say this. I will always go form over fixtures 100%. If you see someone like Emmanuel Dennis, for instance, earlier in the season, he was just scoring against anyone, everyone, getting points all the time. So I would not worry too much. Maybe take your time with Ward-Prowse. Maybe give him a week because they've got Man City coming up at home. Then Tottenham away, then Man United away. And then after that... Not great. Then after that, they've got a lot of good fixtures. So maybe I should have saved him for the hit list for February the 19th. Anyway, I digress. So the next 2 I'll put in together. I'm sure a lot of people saw the game the other day and they've seen the vibe that's going around Aston Villa and Steven Gerrard. There seems to be a real good buzz about them at the moment. And they go and bring in Phil Coutinho, Luca Din. Now, I'm not recommending Luca Din yet because I just want to see a couple more weeks from them. They don't exactly look like they're going to keep a clean sheet and haven't done even, with Gerrard coming in. But I would say, again, if you're looking for a cheap player, Jacob Ramsey, he looked very, very impressive. Earlier on the season, we talked about him and we said he could be at 4.5 million, one of these breakout players. And I think his season's been probably a bit up and down, but he's played majority of the season through different managers. And now it looks like, after the way he performed the other day, that he could have like an air of maturity about him, and that he potentially could be a scorer at such a low price. We're thinking Lundstrom kind of style, but this guy looks decent, and he's getting forward.
The thing you get with Gerrard as well is, he trusts the youth lads. You can tell that he does, and people are saying, "Oh, is Coutinho going to come in and take his spot?" I don't think he will. There's other people, who obviously have, Villa have got options now, but Gerrard's not someone who's going to drop someone who's playing well. You know that. You can tell it from where he is, the way he was at Rangers as well. He gives people opportunities, and this lad's taking it. So yeah, great shout, Heath. Really good shout.
Yeah, and then the other player that I think he was saying that inspired him, Philippe Coutinho. Again, he was another player that I was thinking, do you know what? I could wait a week and just see how he gets on. Playing Man United, not an easy game. Just see what he does. I'm already sold. I'm not sort of saying that, because again, Aston Villa fall into the southern bracket for me. So I need as much inspiration as I can get. And the fact is that this guy is a class football player. And if the way that game basically happened was, it just looked like Aston Villa players around Coutinho were just desperate to give him the ball, get him in the game. And the element of respect they were giving him means that, for me personally, I imagine he will run the show for them, and it will allow other players, free up other players, take a bit of pressure off them. And he's, at the end of the day, he was incredible at Liverpool. He just kind of probably got overrun by better players, and in the end had to, got the big move to Barcelona, and again overrun by good players, and it just didn't happen. So at Villa, we could see the old Coutinho. Who knows? But he's definitely a player to look out for. 7 million as well. Seems like a bargain.
Snip at 7 million. You gotta get on that.
And I mean, like, realistically,
get on that. Gotta get on it.
and he got. I mean, technically, he didn't get the assist, but he got a goal, and he was involved with the goal that should have probably been an assist. So, and he didn't start the game. He came off the bench. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm looking at it thinking that element of, I don't know, the influence he had on the rest of the team to get them from 2-0 down back to 2-2. Brilliant.
Great, mate. Now, loving the hit list. Good to see it back as well, to be fair. And hopefully people can take some pointers from that. And like we said, we know FPL is hindsight, but I think also we have put some stuff in there which people haven't been thinking about right this minute. So hopefully they'll all take that. Just a quick update. Brentford have just got pulled one back against Manchester United. Ivan Toney has scored. Anyone with United defenders, clean sheets, will be disappointed. I am not one of those people, Heath. I didn't put a United defender or keeper in my team, so don't worry. That doesn't deter my points still. So, yeah, all good there. yeah, I'm still over 100. So all good there. So it moves on to our next one, which is our North vs South mini league update. This is all the people who've joined our league, which we're really grateful for. Heath, what's going on in this game week, and what are people seeing? I'm guessing. I mean, it's probably not been fully updated given the current game week going on, but where are we at?
Okay, so I'll start at the bottom like I always like to do. It looks like, I think, Sam Diamond, like I say, a sea of red. Just he's actually quite. It looks like a bit like a Christmas tree. He's got his two centre halves both red. He's got his full midfield in red. Antonio captain 8 points. Richarlison 7 points. He's got
some points coming in though, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's Cresswell, McAllister, and Firmino all coming off the bench.
That's a great bench.
Yeah,
he's got 20 points coming on. I mean, he's actually going to be an above average player maybe after that.
Yeah,
pure fluke.
So he's done okay. El Badger Poopers, Lukaku captain, Greenwood, Cancelo. So there's not a lot to talk about there. He's obviously not worried about AFCON because he's got Salah and Mahrez.
Has he got out coming off the bench, or is he all right?
Yeah, he's got Jimenez coming on, so 5 points. But yeah, let's talk about someone who deserves a bit of credit here. So he's been struggling a little bit, but Joe Hadley, he's having a week to remember. So he's got some points coming off the bench for a start because he's got Ward-Prowse. Oh, actually, maybe. Oh no, I don't think he does. Actually, ignore me. He doesn't because Luca did play. So sorry to get your hopes up there. It looks like
you've killed him.
I know. Yeah.
I send the apologies for Heath here.
But Joe's not going to be too disappointed because he's got Fernandez as captain and he's currently on 44 points. So for just Fernandez on his own. So he's coming on 75 points. He had Williams, he had Gallagher, Tony, Lukaku. He had Ward-Prowse on the bench. That was the one that he'd be a bit disappointed on. But that's a big score. 75 points. Bruno as captain, well played. He must have been listening to you, mate, when you made that decision.
It was a great shout.
It was. So moving up the leagues, then to be honest, there's not a huge amount to get excited about really. Probably the next one I could see here, Zoe Maria, 66 points. She interestingly went with Cancelo as captain. That's your speciality. And
I just know when to play that. But then again,
they're brave.
She was bad, did it?
She got 22 points.
You got to be happy with that with your captain, to be fair. So
exactly. So she did well. Then we go up into the top 10. I'm just about in there. She is on my she's just behind me, unfortunately. Then we get to the big man, 102 points. Look at this. Bruno Fernandes, Cody, Greenwood. I mean, I'm not going to keep going on because he's already told you the team earlier, but well done to State. Then we've got some stinkers in here. Oh, no, actually, maybe not. So
Matthews came back, didn't he?
Yeah, Mike Matthews there. Kane captain, so he got him 18 points there. So Jason by 27's got up to 57 because he's got Greenwood, Kane as captain as well. So, and then higher we get Simon Jones with Warbones. We've got Cancelo. It's when with Trent as captain. So he must be listening to his podcast because he just threw it out there earlier. Summit there was 61. Probably be a bit disappointed with that. De Gea in goal, 8 points. Nice. So he's got seven save points against Villa and 7 save points against Brentford.
Yeah.
And so wait a minute. So these defenders that are being played at, I don't know if it's working out for Man United, to be honest. He's having to make that amount of saves. I think Summit looks like he's played Kane as captain as well. So he's got some points there.
Catching up some on Betty, isn't he? I think.
And this
is had a great week.
This is actually probably the story of the game week. Actually, apart from yourself, it looks like Betty Swallows has had a blow to the Swallock area, and Ronaldo as captain has cost him unless the big man gets a point and then gets something in the next 20 minutes, which might not happen. Antonio just got him some points. Bowen got him some points. Alexander-Arnold got him some points. But yeah, disappointing. 40 points and he took a -4. So Summit is on his tail. And yeah, I mean, hopefully this makes the title race interesting because there's currently 50 points between them. So that'll come down to probably about 30 points, something like that. So yeah it's good, guys. And like I say, it's good to see some interesting captain decisions there. I'm just thinking to myself that actually I want to mention this one. We've had a stinker. Chris Harrigan, Doff Venture South, 27 points.
Chrissy boy. He's
gonna get a bit lucky with his vice captain, but someone has forgotten the deadline because the team's having a stinker. Zaha, Livramento, Son, Saka, Tierney all not playing.
Yeah, I mean, Son, he's definitely forgotten something because Son's out. He's out for a while. I mean, you're trusting this man with your staggy, aren't you?
I am. I don't know what I'm doing.
Tell you what, Chris, mate, you're having a mare, sunshine.
I think the guy needs to go on my shit list next week.
Yeah. he can go above our shit list. What a disgrace! Disgusting behavior.
But guys, great work as usual, and it's keep those interesting captaincies coming in because that's something to get excited about when someone makes Cancelo captain who's only got one game and it's against their fellow title chasers. That's good to see. I like that. But yeah, we must move on because we've got so much more to come, and we've been talking a lot tonight, mate.
This could be a record breaker in terms of longest podcast we've delivered. Probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So we move on to our score predictions. Now, this again wasn't in our podcast last week. We cut it, and I think it'd be pretty disappointed to have lost it. But it's only really because there were so many games that we missed out on that we felt, do you know what? Let's give it a miss this week, and let's get a quiz in there. So this week we've got the score predictions back, and just to remind you what it is, we are basically looking at the north and the northern teams versus the southern teams. We're not worried about the teams that play within the region, and we're going to basically put who we think is going to win, the north or the south, and we are accruing over the season who predicts the best, right? So who's got the most? I'm pretty sure that I'm winning this, but
Yeah, you are.
we've
You
only done
are.
a handful of weeks, I think.
You're not miles
No,
ahead, but
no,
you're ahead. You know,
it's like
the last
2-1 or 3-1 or
the last
something.
yeah, you've won. Yeah, you've won 3 game weeks, I think, and there's been a draw, and I think I've won 1. So it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's not great for me at the moment, but this is a sidewinder. To be fair, so it's not. It's not the end
This
of
is
the
the
world.
real quiz.
Yeah, when you're getting beaten everything else, yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? So yeah. So we've got a good week actually ahead, providing COVID doesn't hit us with some cancellations. We've got 8 games, which are North versus South teams in the podcast. So yeah, which is quite a good sort of selection in my opinion. To be fair, so Heath, I'll let you start us off as always, especially because the first game, the Friday night games between your boys in Norwich. Where are you going with this one? I'm pretty sure I think you're going to go with them, but you've been very detrimental to your own team before and a bit of a Judas. So what are you thinking?
I'm going home win. We've got a great record against Norwich. I think the only thing that could happen is that it could potentially be a draw. We might get a bit nervous, but with the new players in the back line, I'm and our defensive midfielder, I'm going home win.
Okay, I'm going to draw. I have your feeling. Just I wouldn't have done this if Norwich hadn't beaten Everton, but that's got to give him a lift, surely.
Yeah.
If that can give him a lift, what's going to give him a bloody lift these days?
And just to kind of counter what I just said, it is one of those weird ones where we've beaten Norwich. I think we've beaten them 4 or 5 games, home and away in a row. And it feels like there's got to be a moment where they get one on us. So
Stops, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going home win still.
No, I like it, mate. And I didn't expect anything different. So Everton Villa.
Oh, interesting. I'm gonna go draw, right? And the reason why I'm gonna go draw, if the sacking hadn't have happened, it would have been an away win. I think I would have gone Villa, but I'm going to go for a draw because I think that the instant impact that someone like Duncan Ferguson will have on those players will, and he normally does do as well, when he comes in as caretaker, they normally do something and show their fight, and he normally mixes it up a little bit. So and the fans will be right behind him. They won't be, that will be a big move for them to kind of get away from someone who they didn't want in the club really from the start. So I'm going to go for a draw.
Right. I'm going for an Everton win. Basically for the reasons you said, but I think they'll actually go and get the win. Brentford Wolves, I'll go first. I watched this reverse fixture. It was at Wolves and Brentford absolutely battered them. But, Wolves are a lot more solid now. Brentford are, just been beaten again. They've been beaten by United 3-1. They've, lost before that. Brentford are, at the moment, everyone's pretty sure that Brentford are going to be safe. Which they probably are going to be because there's just too many teams that were worse than them at the end of the day. So I do think that they'll be fine. But yeah, Brentford versus Wolves, I do think it's going to be an away win there. So I'm going for Wolves because Wolves are in a good run of form and picking up wins now. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I'll go away win as well. I was tempted by the draw, but then I was just thinking the way that Wolves played against Southampton, they've been amassing a lot of XG and they've not been using it, and it finally kind of clicked for them. So I'm going to go Wolves win as well.
Yeah, sound. Now this is a tricky one. I mean, United have had a good win tonight. West Ham lost to Leeds last game, but Man United, West Ham, oof.
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to go home win, just because I feel like the West Ham bubble might be bursting slightly. slightly, not completely,
Mhm.
but you must get to a point in the season where you've done so well, which they have done, that when they see Man United and Spurs winning tonight, they must have an element of nerves about them at some
And
point
like,
during this season.
and every team below them has games in hand, and if they win
Yeah.
one of them, they're above them. I'm going the same home win there because I do think no, I don't know whether it's United have turned a corner or not, but at the same time, I do think that West Ham are just having that little bit of a rut. So yeah, Southampton, Man City. Next game, I'll go this one first. I'm going straight away win. That's a given. Heath, I'm going to
Yeah.
assume you're going to do
Same.
the same.
Yeah.
We don't need. There's no explanation needed there. Next game, I'll go again. Home win for Arsenal against Burnley.
Yeah. I'm going to go for a postponement.
No, okay. I'll put that down as your prediction. Fair play. Fair play. Yeah, you want to do that? No worries. Right, Palace, Liverpool. What are you doing?
Liverpool.
Yeah, and me too. I think Liverpool will still do that. And then Leicester, Brighton. This could be a good one.
You go first, mate.
Ah, I see. I think I'm going to go for the draw.
I think because Leicester have got a depleted squad a little bit, I'm going to go for draw too. No, I genuinely mean that. I genuinely mean that.
That's all right. We've got enough plenties to differentiate there. So this moves us on to our on the spot. So 5 questions. I will give 5 to Heath. Heath will give 5 to me, and we will. And it's a direct answer. No more than a sentence, unless you get the option to elaborate. When I ask Heath these questions, I'm going to tell him which one he can elaborate on. I'm not going to let him decide that.
Sorry, mate. Just to interrupt, right? So we agreed to a theme. However, I'm going to put my hands up and say, because I had a very busy day today, I lost on the spot in my agenda, didn't have any questions. I do have questions now. However, I've decided to go with my own theme. So there's the states theme, which he's about to tell you about, and there's a mystery theme that you'll find out when I do mine.
Brilliant, excellent. So Heath's gone.
Everyone likes surprises.
Yeah, well, Southerners for you guys, never following the rules, just trying to make things up as you go along. Typical Southerners. Thank you. Anyway, so my theme is based on current players in the EPL. So I'm going to just basically go through a goalkeeper, a defender, a midfielder, forward, and give Heath 2 options. Who would he rather have in his fantasy team? And I want him to consider the following factors. It's not just about points scored, but it's also about the value of the player as well. Maybe upcoming fixtures as well, if he's got the nous to do that. Now mine are going to be between Northern players. So Heath's obviously not been focusing on Northern players because he's not that. But I want him to say, who would he think about bringing into his, which might give people options and just take it away from the fact that obviously he's going to give you Southern options. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So there might be a couple of obvious ones in there, but let's see. So we'll start with goalkeepers, and this one's not massively obvious. I don't think, in my opinion, but let's go for it. So we've got Edison or Allison in goal.
I would go with Edison.
There's only 0.1 million difference between it. There's 10 points difference at the moment, but yeah, that's fine. Now this one's a good one. So we've got, and I'll give you the values of these players. So we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold at 8.4 million and João Cancelo at 7.0 million. Oh, just 7 million. Why did I say 7.0? Who knows? And Trent's got 142 points this season. Cancelo's got 132 points this season. Who do you go for?
100% Trent. 100%.
For 1.4 million more.
Doesn't bother me.
I don't need you to elaborate, but yeah, there you go. I know you've been aching to elaborate on
I really do.
Yeah.
I just want to speak.
Yes, of course you do. I love the fact that you're not speaking at the moment. That's quite good. The next one would be Bruno Fernandes or Diogo Jota right now. Given there's 11.7 million for Bruno, 8.4 for Jota.
Oh, I can't elaborate. Jota.
Who are you picking? Jota. Why?
So you want me to elaborate?
Yeah.
Okay, because the fact is that when Bruno turned up, it was when Ronaldo wasn't playing. When Ronaldo plays, I think Bruno then takes a backseat. Jota,
Bruno just got 2 assists today.
yeah,
Ronaldo played.
yeah, but they're playing a poor Brentford side. I think looking at Liverpool's fixtures as well, given that you've got Salah and Mane who won't be playing, I don't know how many games they're out for, to be honest, but it might be the next couple. Then when they're back, I assume they'll be back for Burnley away and Norwich at home. I would want Jota. And Liverpool are just, I think personally, I just think Liverpool are a better, their coaching strategies are a lot better, a lot more effective. They've played together for a while and they trust each other. I don't think anyone trusts them. Anyone trusts each other at United. I think they're just all kind of a group of individuals pulling different directions.
Yeah, fair enough. Also, Heath is basically saying, wait a couple of weeks with Jota and then wait for him to do better in Norwich than that. But in the next
And he's
2 weeks,
cheaper,
just
and he's a
don't worry
lot
about it.
cheaper.
He is, but Bruno's last 2 games form, he's points. So there you go. But there you go. So
you know you haven't got him in your team next week, right? You know you've got to transfer him in because it's a free hit.
At this moment, yes. But I can easily do that if I want to. You know, I have options. So yeah. Anyway, we go on to our final player in terms of forwards. So I'm going with, we've got Calvert-Lewin or Daka at Leicester.
Calvert-Lewin.
Why?
I can elaborate, can I?
No.
I'm
just saying why. Just being a dickhead. Just teasing you. But no, fair enough. There we go. And then my fifth and final one is, it's all about managers. So if Watford was to get rid of Ranieri right now, which obviously they're not going to, but you got to choose out of these 2 currently managing northern sides, who would you go for Watford? Sean Dyche or Bielsa?
100% Bielsa. 100% Bielsa.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for that. And I'm glad that I went with my theme today because mine's a lot more interesting than States. No, that was good. I'm joking, mate. I'm joking. So my theme that I made up on the spot as this podcast was being recorded was away days. I was thinking, what's the best thing about football? As a football fan, it's a good away day, right? Everyone loves an away day. And so what I'm doing to you, State, is I'm going to give your sentimental kind of side of you to come out right now and tell us all about your experiences, right? So, and just to remind you guys, all right, State can elaborate on one, and I've decided which one he's going to elaborate on. It will be pretty much the last one. So I have given him 5 different situations. He's got to give me an answer, and I'm looking for the first thing that comes to his mind. He has to be spontaneous with these. He can't think for too long. And I'm hoping that gets some interesting answers given that he supports Rotherham. So my first question to you is, what is the best away ground you've been to?
I'd say Upton Park.
Interesting. What is the best away result? Now, I don't want to accept Wembley trips or playoff finals or anything like that. Just genuine away days, because playoff finals aren't really a proper away day because, you know, there's millions of you. The away day is great when you've got thousands around you rather than tens of thousands. Although you do support Rotherham, so maybe when you go to Wembley, there are only 1,000 of you.
At least we serve beer in our end.
Anyway, best away result, mate.
MK Dons Hockey Stadium away at Christmas. 1-2-1. It was freezing cold. There was no Bovril left in the hot thing. So just that, and there was no stand because it was at the old MK Dons Hockey Stadium, and we won 2-1. It was brilliant.
Obviously, I didn't ask for an elaboration, but I'll give you that because, to be honest, some of these actually need an elaboration because otherwise people will be a bit like confused. So the next one, I'm going to give you 3 elaborations.
Excellent.
There's one of them. So MK Dons away. The best away goal you've seen?
It was a goal against Rotherham then. Andy Booth it was quite new, was the McAlpine Stadium at Huddersfield, and I live near Huddersfield, but Rotherham were playing away there. Andy Booth scored a goal from the edge of the area, which was just pretty for a big guy, pretty good sort of technique, to be fair. Yeah.
Nice. This one doesn't need elaboration. Just a quick answer. Best away fans.
West Brom.
Really interesting. Not going to ask for elaboration, but interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Best away day. Now this I need an elaboration. 100%. So what was your best ever away day? And again, not accepting playoff finals and all that kind of stuff.
Best ever away day. Well, tell you what, Heath, you were on this best ever away day for me, because it was Huddersfield Town Watford when Huddersfield were in the Premier League, and Heath came up to my neck of the woods, and we went in the Watford end as Heath's a Watford fan, and it was good because there were a few of us uni lads who had a bit of a reunion, but at the same time, it was good because Huddersfield were pretty much if they won that game, they were pretty much guaranteed to stay up, and they did, and they won that game. They had a great atmosphere. The Watford fans were loving it. It was a sunny day. We had beers and everything. It was a fantastic away day, and it was not just about the football because the game itself was pretty crap in terms of quality, but it was a great atmosphere. Watford fans were going at it. Huddersfield fans were going at it, and yeah, like I said, got to spend it with three of my very good university mates. So there you go. You wanted a bit of sentiment from me. That's quite sentimental as far as I go. It's probably about as far as I go sentimental wise. And yeah, that was probably my best away day. Thank you.
Nice. I like it. I'm glad that I was a part of that. It was a great day, even though we lost 1-0, and it was a killer because they scored pretty late on, if I remember rightly. It kind
Tom
of
Ince. Tom Ince scored it.
I think that game actually is kind of one of those where that is what's so good about a good away day, is that if you go with your mates and you get on it and you have a good time, the result is irrelevant. As long as you don't get battered, the fact is you still enjoy it because you get to have a good time, and the game you want to get a result, but the fact is that it's not always the main key kind of like part of a good away day. Good away day, you need to have good people around you. You've got to have I don't know, some kind of night out. Probably you got to have fun getting there and getting back, and it has to have some kind of something riding on it. And that was like right at the end of the season, like you say, Huddersfield needed the win. I think what was good as well was that we went to a pub beforehand and watched. I think it was Chelsea versus, I want to say
Southampton.
Southampton. That's it. And we watched that game all celebrating Chelsea, kind of beating Southampton, because we were all worried about, one of our relegation rivals getting a point or getting a result against one of the big teams. So there was all sorts of things to it, and it was brilliant. And the atmosphere, to be fair, at Huddersfield's ground was really good. And I just want to point out one last thing, that season I had a season ticket at Watford, and Huddersfield fans were actually one of the best set of fans at the Vic that year. Not just because they beat us 4-1, they were pretty loud all the way from the beginning to the end of that day, which is again what is good fun about football, really. You can forget about that, especially when you've been through COVID and stuff. So yeah, lovely stuff, mate. Apologies for not keeping with the theme, but I think that was quite good anyway. So
yeah, no, I liked it, mate. Liked it. A lot of time for that sort of nostalgia and whatnot. So yeah, very very happy with that. Good work.
Nice.
Good work, pal. Which so it leads us on to our game week preview for the week coming up. Obviously, I know we're going to be leaving things till the end of the day, but what are your ideas this week, Heath? What you thinking, pal?
My team is now very different. Wildcard time, basically. Unfortunately, I probably am not going to take my own advice here and be patient, but I do think, and this is the thing to kind of give myself some leeway here with the element of patience when it comes to the wild card, is that for me, I don't have to worry about value too much, because at the moment, Lukaku, Kane, the big players, the most expensive players, they're not really performing regularly that I need to have in my team. Like Kane scored tonight, yeah, but just the one. Lukaku didn't do anything in the last couple of games. I could probably have one. It would probably be a bit silly to have them both at the moment. Things may change, and I could be wrong, but I decided to my wild card really on the fact of Aston Villa and how they've been so impressive recently that I decided to bring in a couple of their players. So this is the whole thing about putting my money where my mouth is. So if you actually go back and listen to the hit list, there's a few players that come up here. So first of all, I'm going to start with my goalkeepers. I'm going strong. I've got Ramsdale and I've got Sanchez as my two goalkeepers. I'm going to basically try and rotate them if I need to, because Arsenal, I can't rely on them. But I think that they could potentially get away with just having Ramsdale in goal and not have to worry about Sanchez. But I want to have him as backup because, again, like I say, value doesn't really worry as much. And I would have gone Emi Martinez. I'm only joking about having a grudge against him, but I want to have the extra space out on field for Villa player, just in case I need to bring one extra player in. So we'll come to them anyway in a second. So my defense at the moment, I'm going to keep Rudiger. I've gone with Tierney, like I mentioned. I've got Cucurella and Luka Din. So him coming over to Villa, taking free kicks, left foot's incredible. I'm just thinking Villa look like a team full of confidence with someone like Luka Din, who's always been a good, player in FPL. He could potentially be a big differential because I don't think many people want to bring him in at the moment because Villa haven't been keeping clean sheets. And I'm not even asking him to keep a clean sheet. I'm just looking for an assist or a goal every now and then. It's not much to ask for. So that's my starting four. So Ramsdale is my starting goalkeeper, by the way, at the moment. Then my midfield is made up of Jared Bowen, Philip Coutinho, surprise, surprise, again. I've also gone for Martinelli because I've been really impressed with him this year. He's had a bit of a break as well, so I imagine he'll be nice and fit for Burnley at home. And then my front line at the moment, I've got a bit of a toss-up between Kane and Lukaku. Like you said earlier, I've looked at Chelsea's fixtures, realised they've got a lot of games off. So I'm almost thinking I'll have Kane for now, or I might even have Lukaku for the next game just because they're playing Tottenham. But then Kane scored tonight. So at the moment, I've got Kane, might have Lukaku, who knows. I've got Antonio because he is currently my picture on my Twitter page, and I'm that sad. No, I'm joking. It's just because his form hasn't actually been that bad recently. It's just not been as good as it was. And Dennis, Norwich at home this week. Potentially, I could put another Watford player in there just for Norwich at home. But unfortunately, again, some people might understand where I'm coming from here, but I don't like to jinx my own team by having too many players from them in my team. So, yeah, I won't be making that mistake. Then my bench at the moment, Sanchez in goal. James Ward-Prowse has been brought in. His form has been incredible. They've got Man City this week, so I'm not risking him. Conor Gallagher, he's back again after COVID. He was in my team before. Liverpool at home, not going to start him. And Serge Reguilon, so he's got Chelsea away. He's my third sub. So all of the players on my bench could do something, and I'm not, writing anything off. But at the moment, that's my wild card. I think it's a pretty strong wild card. I just look at it and I think to myself, I'm happy with 90% of that team. I think the only thing is that I've got to see how these Chelsea fixtures pan out, because you never know, they might change some fixtures around and add them and take them away and put a midweek game in here, and they might get those game weeks back. I don't know, but at the moment, that's where I'm seeing it. So yeah, that's my team. And it's probably, like I say, probably some people will say I've played my wild card too soon, but I do think, like I say, because we're only picking from our region, it's not too difficult to bring in certain players gradually rather than having to make wholesale changes. So if, like, for instance, if Kane got sold to Man City, not that it's going to happen now. It looks like it's not happening, but
no,
if that happened and I had to get rid of him, then that would be a problem. I could get rid of him. But at the same time, if other players came into the South, I could probably gradually bring players in when, before the transfer, as the transfer window's kind of going on and beginning of February and stuff like that. So I'm not too worried, even if I had to take a hit or something. This game's all about the head-to-heads. In that league, I'm not expecting to win it because we're playing against other people who are playing, with both North and South. So yeah, that's my team. How about yourself, mate?
Well, obviously I played my free hit last week, so my side reverts back to what it was. So I'm definitely going to be making some changes. Yeah, the wild cards a definite look at this week. I mean, what I'm thinking of at the moment is like, well, the here and net. I'm not going to probably change that. If I play my wild card, I might change him. Actually, bring Sarr in goal. Cancelo's going to stay. Trent's going to stay in the midfield. Jota, Foden's going to stay. I'm getting rid of Ronaldo this week. I'm pretty sure about that. I know, yeah, it could bite me, but I've got to get Bruno in. He's obviously shown in the last 2 games form, so need to be looking at that. James Maddison was in on my free hit. He's going to be bringing in. I wouldn't mind seeing Daka. So yeah, I'm pretty confident actually. It's going to be a wild card week this week for me, and it's going to involve, yeah, I'm going to be looking at having definitely 1 City defender, maybe 2 City midfielders, Maddison and Daka from Leicester in. I've got Trent and Jota from Liverpool. Do I throw in another person from Liverpool in there? Maybe. City, yeah, Cancelo's going to be there. I think I'm going to keep Foden in as well. And yeah, with United, I'll bring Bruno in. Ronaldo will go. And then up front, it's going to be Calvert-Lewin, Daka, and probably a cheaper striker, I would imagine. Maybe try and sneak maybe another Wolves defender in. But it's, yeah, I'm a bit up in the air, if truth be told, my game week review. So I'm not offering you too much here, guys. But there's probably going to be quite a bit of swapping and changing. But we'll see what the team news comes out with and what happens. I don't mind me. I will, in an ideal world, I would want to keep my wild card till the end of Jan. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna make sure I've got a big player in there, a big number in there, because then I can get Salah back in when he comes back from AFCON. So that'll be the thing then. So I'm not too fussed about it if I have to take a -4 point hit to get him back in. As everyone knows, he's worth taking probably a -12 point hit to get him back in if needs be. So it doesn't really make much difference on that front. But it's likely to be a wild card, although I could change my mind if something happens, and I think, well, it might be worth taking an 8 point hit and getting 3 players in that way. We'll see how it works.
Nice, excellent, mate. Well, guys, like I say, there's no quiz this week, and there's a lot of content there for you to digest. So we just like to be, we like to be givers here at the FPL podcast, the North versus South FPL podcast. We're not the FPL podcast. Obviously, we've not had that promotion yet, or I'd like to see it as a demotion, to be honest, because I much prefer this podcast. That isn't that we're having a rivalry with the FPL podcast. I just want to say that, right? Anyway, so yeah, I think realistically right now we're at an interesting part of FPL. I think it does seem like the COVID situation looks like it's calming down a little bit, and that the amount of people who kind of like having it, and the cancellations seem to be dying down a little bit. So we're all hoping that there's no more cancellations to worry about, apart from that Burnley Arsenal game that's going to be cancelled because I predicted it. So, but from it's just one thing I would like to say before we finish. Please remember, we've got our Twitter handles. So we've got the @FPL NVS, which is the North versus South podcast, FPL podcast, which is that's its own entity on Twitter. Then we've got States, which is @FPL_Northerner, and mine, which is @FPL Southerner. There's no underscore anymore. That died just before Christmas. RIP. Thank you very much for listening. Good luck this game week. I hope you enjoyed the content that we've provided you today. And yeah, good luck.
Yeah, all the best, guys. Enjoy.